Welcome all of you to the session 4 of the Intelligence training. So I hope everybody has practiced regarding the previous session, how to create the connections, how to define the query object, how to create the parameters, and what is the Intelligence is about. Now, whatever we have created like connections, query object, parameter, we will be using that the entities to create the report, which will be our visualization. So to create that visualization, there are different type of reporting in the Intelligence, like ad-hoc report, smart report, HSV report. So out of these three, I will be today explaining the ad-hoc report designing. So let us start with that. So today's agenda is the how to design ad hoc report, how we can configure the ad hoc report if you want to make some modifications or anything in the templates for the designing of ad hoc report, how to create the private report so that it will be only accessible to the user who have created that. No one else can see that reports. After that, we will be covering the scheduling and bursting, like how we can schedule that particular report so that automatically it will run and it will be sent to the users via email, via it will be saved in some folder, etc. And also we will be having the alert and notification. Like for example, if we have been created some conditions based on that condition, some alerts have to be triggered. So the notification will be sent to the users that this conditions what we have been set has been met by the report. So automatically the user can take the actions. And in the last, we will be having the Q&A session of the 15 minutes. So all of you, if you have any questions in between also, so you can type it in the question and answer section. So our panelists will be answering that. And in the last also, we'll be taking some of the questions which will be necessary to address that. Now, what is actually the ad hoc report? So ad hoc means which we can create on the runtime so that any users, any dependent user who doesn't have any technical knowledge or anything, in the runtime, if they have any backend data with them, like created the query object, they have the data source, they have the connection. So on that basis, they can create a report in a few minutes by taking with the no code. Now going further, this is the part we will be covering in the ad hoc report designing. So first is like we will be designing the report by non-technical business user with no coding. So basically this designing of the report doesn't require any of the code knowledge or any technical knowledge to be there. Any person can define, any business user or any other person who don't have the knowledge of any technical languages or like that. So they can design the report with the drag and drop feature and the different features I will be explaining to you. Okay. Now another thing is the predefined templates. Now this ad hoc report are based on the designing on the predefined templates which Intellicus is providing. So these templates are already been defined in our in-house tool of the studio report. We call this as a pixel perfect reporting tool. So these templates are designed from that, and this defined template can be used to design the ad hoc report on the top of it. You don't have to design the backend part of that report, like what will be the layout, how it will be the user friendly or not, like this. Only the user have to select the fields, the conditions they have to provide, grouping, sorting, anything like this, and the report will be ready for the use. Now, what are the design entities this ad hoc report covers? We cover in the detailed report, like this report is used for the detailed type of report, which can be in the printable format also, which can be emailed, which can be viewed on the dashboard and the reporting tool. Also, this report, we can design a matrix type of report where we can create a cross combination for the solution which we want to have. So we can analyze our solution based on this cross combination of the column and row. Another part is the chart. Like basically in the BI tool, we normally visualize about the charting tool also. So this detailed report can also cover the chart type of report. So we can design the different type of uh, charts like pie, bar, any traditional chart also and some custom charts also. Now different features of the ad hoc report are like we can create the data source selection, like what is the connection which we are referring or what is the backend part. Like for example, in the yesterday's session or in the previous session, we have been covered how to create the query object based on the data we have. So based on that data, whatever the query object we have created, that query object can be taken as an input for this report designing. Now after that, we have taken the query object, we will be selecting the fields. Now field is selected if you want to perform some filtering of the data set, if you want to perform the grouping, if you want to perform aggregation, sorting, highlighting, we can perform that. And at last, I have been given you the help document link so that you can just click on this link and the user can get the help document of the Intellicus for the designing of the ad hoc report. So that you can get the reference that if anything is missed or anything you want a reference to create the ad hoc report, you can take from this help document of the Intellicus. So let us move ahead. So this is the first part, that data source selection. So in this data source selection, we have to take the input of that query object which we have created. Now, after selecting this query object, we are having the different options for the giving the titles, the format, and which if you want to change the create some formula fields like this. Then after that, we are having the field selection part, that if you want the what the fields we have to select in the report. So that is the option we have. Then we have the filter pane, that what are the filters if you want to apply while fetching the report in the predefined manner, or it can also be based on the some predefined column also or value also. If you want to do some grouping in the report, for example, we have to do grouping based on the country. So our report can be grouped based on that country and we can analyze our data accordingly. Now, if we have done the grouping, if we have filtered the data, now we want to see the aggregation on the base of that grouping and also in the reporting tool. So at the end of the report also and at the end of the group also, we can see the aggregation of that part. After that, we have the sorting. If you want to visualize the data based on our conditions, that how we have to see the data, in which sorting format we have to do. Like we want to sort based on the country, or if you want to sort based on the date, or if you want to sort based on the item category, etc. So we can define the multiple level of the sorting also, same for the grouping and same for the aggregation. Now highlighting. This is the critical part of the reporting design in which if we want to apply some conditions in the reporting tool, for example, like if my sales goes above the 1 lakh, so I have to highlight that row so that I can analyze that which of the countries have given me or which of the item categories has given me the sales above 1 lakh. So for that conditions, we are using this highlighting. In this highlighting, we can define the conditions, what we want for that highlighting part. We can use the fields and also we can define the alert. So it will be covered in the next half. Moving forward. Now this will be how to, if we want to define the define a matrix report. So we can define a grid view of report in the matrix form. In the column also we can take a field and in the row also, and based on the that we can take a summary field. And we can define a different aggregation functions for that. Based on that, we can define the chart also. So this chart also we can how to create a chart based on the different columns. Like for example, based on the country, I want to see the quantities have been sold. Right. So I can define the different charts like bar chart, pie chart for the contribution. And that if you want to see the trend based on the date, so we can define a date line chart for the date trend. Now, based on this, I can define the different type of charts and I can create the multiple charts also. Okay. Now, if we want to create this matrix on the chart, so if we don't want to select the data into the field span, like if you have taken this in the field area, we do not have to select any field because field are used for the detailed report. And if you want to create a matrix or chart only, so directly field will be selected in this pane. So we don't have to select the field on all of the area. So I will explain this all of the features in the live Intelligence portal also. It is just giving you the overview that how we can use and what is the use of the ad hoc reporting and how easy it is used to use and design the ad hoc report. So this will be the output, that how the grid report will be visualized, like in the form of detailed report, that how we can analyze in the column format, right? And in the chart format, if you want to analyze, so we can see that we have the pie chart and the line chart in this ad hoc reporting tool only, and we have the matrix form. So these are the different form of reporting. Now let us move towards the Intellicus portal. Okay. So this is our login page in which this is our home page of the Intellicus portal where we can design the ad hoc report. Now in this portal, we have a different form of reporting. Like for example, if we have seen like dashboard, high speed view, and smart view. Now in the design area, we have the different designing options, the dashboard designer, dashboard widget, ad hoc. So this is our we have to use for the ad hoc report designing, the ad hoc report. So if we click on that, we will get the screen so that in that we can start designing the ad hoc report. Now this is the same screen which I have been shown in the presentation, right? So this is a simple step. One by one step we have to follow and our report will be developed. So step by step, if we will follow, like for example, we have to create a query object. Now already I have been created one query object. Let me show you. So this is my query object. I have created the keyword training sales. So this query object has the data source from one of my database server, and I'm fetching the data from there. And this is the data I'm getting. So this is the sales data of the different country for the different categories of item. Now I want to create a detailed report based on the different conditions, and I want to do some analysis based on it because directly I cannot see this data into the particular form and analyze it. I have to see some concrete form so that I can take out some decision out of it, right? So let me go to the ad hoc reporting. So here I will be selecting the this query object, keyword training sales. In this, I can define the title that we have been defining the ad hoc training. Okay. Now here we are having the different formats of the report. Like for example, HTML, PDF, MS Excel, CSV, text, Word, IHTML, raw text, PowerPoint, Smart. So we can select the different type of the format. If we select the HTML, so it will be on the UI base. Like for example, different template output you can be see on the Intellicus portal. On the web page, you can analyze the output. And if you are selecting the different formats out of it, like PDF, MS Excel, so whenever you will be running this report, so the output will be in the form of PDF directly, in the form of Excel, CSV, text, Word, like this. And IHTML is the form of the new form of the HTML output in which we can define some new configurations also. So that can be configured based on the defined requirement of the customer. And we are having the different like smart also. So smart report will be covered in our next session. So it will be easy to you get that how the smart report designing is done. Now I am selecting the HTML. Now after that HTML, we are having the different formats that if you have selected the different options, so we can define that we have to download it as a zip or not. Let me check that like this. So if you have selected the PDF, so you can set it that if you want to select download this in the form of PDF, you want to password protected document, you have to suffix the timestamp and also which format of the timestamp you want to suffix it. So you have a different variety of options to generate the ad hoc report if you have the if you already have the defined format of the report into directly from the data source. So you can directly generate this into the Excel or PDF so that you can utilize it for your reference. If I'm selecting the HTML, so we are having the different templates. So as I have explained that we are having the different predefined templates. So these are the predefined templates like beige, blank, nature, like some of them are like this. So there are different form of the templates in which we can define our ad hoc reporting. So let us select the blank first offer, then I will change it in the future. Then report content, like if we have been defined some of the grouping conditions in our report, right? So for that grouping condition, the report which we want to render, does we want to render it on the detailed format or does we want only the summarized data? Because the data which we are getting from the data source might be of the huge, but we want the summarized data to be displayed on the report. So we can create the grouping conditions and we can show that we have to show the summarized data only. Right. Now after that, we can let me take it as a detail. Now fields. Now we are having the different fields what we are having in the data source. So we can select the different fields by checking the checkbox like this, and we can drag here. Or what we can do that we can directly click on this double arrow, so all the fields will be displayed here, right? Now, if I want to select some of the fields only, like for example, order date, customer name, segment, city, country, and category, subcategory, product name, sales, quantity. I want to select these fields only. Now, what I want that country should be go over to the city. So I can move the fields also like this, right? Same for the subcategory, category, product name like this. Now I have a checkbox to add new fields at the runtime. Now, what does this field do? Actually, in the data source, if we have changed the data source and we have included the new field, so again, we have to come into the ad hoc report and we have to add that field from this field pane. But if we have checked this checkbox, so we do not have to add that field again into this report. Whenever there is a new field rendered into the data source connection or data query object, sorry. So in the query object, you if this checkbox is checked, so directly that field will be rendered into your report. You don't have to do the rework again. Now, after that, we can go to the filter pane. So we have to, if we define the predefined filter, that for example, I want to the rows which have the sales above 1 lakh. So I can define this filter 10 lakh or 1 lakh like this. So about that filter, so the data which I will be getting, it will be based on this filter criteria also. Now also I can do what? Use the field. I can see that based on the field, like above that profit. So this is not relevant for this, but I'm giving you the example that how the sales, this filter criteria can be assigned. So we have different conditions, like if you want to define the or and and condition, so we can define the bracket option also. And you can define the and or condition for the multiple filter criteria. Recording in progress. Now, and also we have here the option of the max rows. Like for example, we are having the huge data, but if we want to do that, the total number of rows we want to display into the output, we want most of the rows like max row as 1,000 only. So we can define that only the 1,000 rows should be rendered, not all the rows. So our rendering data will be fast if it is not relevant to us, right? So we can define the max rows also, and we can define the suppress duplicate. So whatever will be the fields and the rows we have selected, if they are having any of the duplicate rows or duplicate values, so already that row will be suppressed. Now, if you're coming to the grouping condition, so we can define the different type of groups. Like for example, I want to show the data based on the country. So I will be grouping my data based on the country. In that country, I want to hierarchical grouping I can to do. So nested grouping, it is the process we have. So in this grouping, I can define that based on the country, I want to do based on the category also. So under the country, I will be grouping under the category. So I can define the ranking field also, that in this country, what is the procedure of the grouping and the, like for example, in the condition to be displayed. So I can define the ranking field. So based on the field I can select, so like date wise. So according to the date wise, this country data will be ranked. Now, what is the function if I select any of the thing? So count, min, max, what is the aggregation function available for that, right? So for example, I have taken the total sales and I have taken the sum. So what it will happen that based on this country, whichever the data, whichever the country which have the most of the sales will be ranked as the first, and whichever the country which have the least data, least sales will be ranked as the last. I also have the conditions that if I have to define this grouping condition based on some another criteria also. So I can define these conditions, right? For example, if I don't want to show the grouping condition on the country, I want to show only when my, for example, customer or I can say that my category is like this above any field, like for example, the sales value. So if my sales value is above the 120, 1,20,000, right? 12 lakh, sorry. So then only this grouping will be displayed. Otherwise, this grouping will not happen. So we can define the grouping condition based on our criteria also. So this is the flexibility we can have in the Intellicus while designing the ad hoc report. We are having the multiple choice of the features which we can apply onto our report while designing the analysis out of that report. We can create the simple report also, but directly selecting the fields, data source, and we can run it. But we can have the multiple options so that we can apply on this report, and also we can generate the more analysis out of it, right? So let me clear the ranking. I want to show based on the natural sorting. Now total. So this total field, I want to show that based on the grouping condition, I want to show the total of sales and the total of quantity. I want now where I want to show. I want to show at the group level, page level, or report level. So based on this, I can display this group summarize field based on any level. So I want to show in the group level, right? Now sorting. Now on what type of sorting if you want to sort the data. So for example, I want to sort my data based on the segment. Okay. Now highlighting. Let us first analyze its data. Then I will show you that how the highlighting can be worked. So we can click on this preview. So it will show us the preview data. Whatever the fields we have selected, whatever the grouping we have applied, whatever the template we have been selected, based on that, it will preview our data. So for example, in this data, you can see that it is the already heading is coming onto the top. The thick gray line is coming. The date is coming here, right? The group by options are coming here. The column heading are the background is gray format. So this is a template which is already been given by the Intellicus. Now this template is configurable that you can change the color, font size of the heading, font size of the column. So I'll show you after that how we can configure that. So based on our conditions and the selection criteria, whatever we have given, so this is the output. Like we can see that the group by is done on based on the country, then based on the segment we can do. And after that, we are showing the different other columns, right? Order date, customer name, segment like this. Now we can see that already we have been group our data based on the country and the category. So we do not have the relevance to show the country and the category here. So what we can do, we can go into our category directly. We can remove this field. We can remove the country and we can preview again. So it is just a simple steps that we can run with our data. We can play with our visualization in the no time, right? So this is the output we have. So based on the country category, the order date, customer name, segment, city, subcategory, product name, sales. And also we can see at the end of the group, we are seeing the total of the group, right? Now, one more thing I have showed you that we want to see the detail or summarize. So now I want to see the summarize data. So I can preview that also by changing just one field. So I can see that I am only able to see the summarized data. I am not able to see the complete set of data which I have been selected. So I can see based on the country, whatever the furniture sales is there, quantity, whatever the office supply in the Albania and the Algeria like this. So this is how flexible the Intelligence gives the feature to change and modify our visualization and the selection of the field in the runtime. Now we coming to the template form. Now I have created the blank template, so it is a simple one. Now let us create some another template. Like for example, we are creating the nature. So let us change and see what will be the preview. So you can see that the colors and the layout of the report has been changed based on some different colors, category, and the designing. So this is how the visualization is. You can see. So this is how we can change the template and the runtime, and we can see our that what output we have won. We can add the new template also. It is very easy to add the new template. We can create a copy of any template and we can modify some of the things like color, font size, anything, or we can design a new template from the word studio report. So the session will be there for that studio report that how we can design a template for that. Right. Now I have taken the nature. Now let us come to the highlighting part. So I can see that here that let us remove some of the fields. Now I want that if my sales goes up below 1,000, then I want to highlight that row into the different conditions. So I can see that I want to highlight the entire row or I want to highlight only the sales column. I want to highlight based on this different colors or based on the different symbols. We have the different symbols also, like the golden star, gray circle, gray cross, take green, many more. There are many options which we are using in our daily life in any reporting tool. So we can use that symbol for our reporting and highlighting purpose. So I'm using that. I want to see the red circle if any sales goes below 1,000. So I'm taking that for example, my sales at the detail level below, and I want to write 1,000. Now let us preview that. So here you can see that wherever the sales is below the 1,000, I can see the red dot beside that, right? So easily we can recognize that where my sales has gone beyond the 1,000. Now I have taken just an example of the 1,000, but based on this country or segment of the sales data, we can take that anything of highlighting. Like I want to see that which of the most quantity have been sold. Like we can see that where the my quantity has been sold more than the 10 quantities. So I can highlight that also. We can define the different condition. Like I want to define the highlighting condition onto the quantity also. So we can go to the highlighting. I want to define one more condition that if, sorry, my quantity green field is my quantity detail level above 5. Let us preview that. So we can see that my whenever my quantity has gone above the 5, so my cell is highlighted with the green color. Now here I have taken just the cell. So I have the different options. Like I can select that. Don't want to select just the quantity field. I want to select the entire row. I can do that also. So my entire row has been highlighted into green. So it will be more easy to find out where my quantity has been gone above the 5. Right. Now here we have the different options. Like just I've shown you the color and the symbols. Now also we are having the different symbols. The user, sorry, user not. We can define the color of the text also change. So like I want to change the text of the color into the red. So I can do that also. So how my color of the font of the color has been also be changed. So this is how we can modify our report and how we want to visualize our data. Now let us remove all the fields and we have to analyze how we can create the matrix form of data. Now, this is a layout how we can define the matrix. So it is very easy and quick to design the matrix form of the reporting. We have the column area, row fields, and the summary field, and these are the available fields which we have. So what I want that based on the country and based on the category, I want to analyze my sales, right? So what I can do that on the country level, I can take it as a row and that category level. What is it? Like here. So we can drag it and category level. And I want to analyze this data based on the sales. Right. Now I have the different conditions on the based on what aggregation you want to do, sum, average, count, min, max, many more conditions are there. User defined also. You can define the formula based on that. Like in the query object, you have shown you that how we can define the formula fields. So that same formula expression we can use to define the conditions also. Right. So here I am taking the sum, right? And if we preview it, so here we can see that this is our aggregation data which we have taken as a grouping, right? And so let us remove that also, so it will be more clear to you, right? So already if you are removing the grouping, so total has by default been removed. Let us preview that like this. So here we can analyze based on our cross combination. You can see that here in the row form we are having the country and in the column form we are having the categories, right? So I can see that on the Australia in the office supply I am having the 690 of the sales, in the technology I am having the 176 and the total sales is 866 like this. So I can do this type of analysis cross combinations also. Here we can say this is a total column, right? In the left corner, right? It is a total column. total sales. Now what don't want to see the totals. So what I can do, I can hide the totals and I can apply it. So easily it will be removed and only the sales will be analyzed based on the categories also. Now again, I want to show it. I can show totals and I can apply it. Right. So this is easy. We can analyze our ad hoc reporting. Now here also reset the width. So what is the width based on the different condition? It will be resetting. If you have modified any width, so it will be done. So clear on. If you want to hide totals, we can do it from here also. Now here we can click and we will see the what is the available fields we have. Right. Now based on the country and category I have done. Now I want to include the customer name also here based on the country that which customer has done how much sales. What I can do, I can drag and drop this customer, I can put it here and I can apply it. So my analysis will be based on the country, based on the customer name also. So on the runtime, you can play with the analysis and you can see that how my analysis will be great use and by different features of the Intellicus. So hope I am clear to all of you, right? How we can design the ad hoc report, how we can define the metrics, how we can use the different features of the Intellicus tool. And it is a step-by-step process of the tools which we can use to define the report. Okay. Now let us come to the how to create the charts. So this is the matrix. Now let us, if you don't want to create any of the, we can remove these fields also. Like customer name I don't want, so I can remove from here. Okay. And also I have the conditions here. Same conditions I have shown you into the grouping tab. In the highlighting also we can do same here. In the matrix also. Column field, I can define the conditions. Like I can define the sorting conditions also. Right. So these are the types we can perform. Now let us remove this field. Now, if you want to create the chart. So this is the UI pane, how we can create the visualization based on our chart. So we have a different libraries of the chart, like bar, column, pie, donut. What are the traditional charts available? Which we have all the traditional charts, and including that, we are having our a different M chart 4 category and different latest category of the charts also available with us. Right in the custom tab, we have the different more chart and we are adding more and more into it. So for example, by default, it is selecting the bar chart. Okay, now I want to check that based on the category and in the grouping, sorry, category will be coming here. Category will be in the y-axis, x-axis, and I want to analyze the sales or profit, I can say. That about how much profit I have been, which is the most profit defined category I have. So I have the defined sum, right? Now I have the different options. So let us first preview this one. So we'll get the idea that how does it look like. Right. So here you can see that in the furniture tab, I'm in the loss. Right. In the office supplies, I'm in the profit and the technology, I am in the profit. So I can see that in the furniture also where I'm in the loss and where I'm not. So let us go to the chart tab. Now in the category tab, now here also I can include the country. Now which country and I'm going how much in loss. So I can go and I can click on the pivot. And instead of the normal, let us take first normal. Now design this. So there are too many countries. So let us take few of them. Field of the countries, order descending or ascending, and take the top 10. Right. So let me take the stack chart so that it will be more clear that in the which country, what is the office category. So this is the form of this check that in which country I'm having how much Like in the Afghanistan, I can highlight. In the Pakistan, I can say Philippines, India, what is the profit and where I am. Like, see, I can do that. Or I can do the reverse part also. Like, for example, I can pivot this into this form and I can pivot, I can take the, based on our profit sum, I can take the top 10. So here you can see that in the Turkey, I'm having in the very, I'm having the most of the loss in the office supplies and in the 315. Same here you can analyze based on this. These are the top 10 countries based on the loss. Now I can do the reverse combination top 10. So from there, I got to know that the most profit giving country, most loss giving country was the Turkey for me. And here I can see the most giving profit giving country is the France, right? So here I can see that I can sort this chart also. Now how I can sort this based on these conditions. I have defined that in the ascending, if you want to do top 10, I have shown you for the loss, and based on the descending, I show you based on the profit. Now I want to see the point level. So let us remove one of the fields. It will be more clear to us. Now I want to see the point labels for that. So I can see what are the values directly onto the chart also. That I'm having the profit of the 831, profit of the $426, and then the loss in the minus 6415. Now coming to that, this is the stack chart, different options we have, right? For the bar category or like this. Okay. Now we can define the threshold also. How? Like I have from 0 or for example minus 0 to minus 500 loss category. I want to make it as a color in the light red. Okay. And I want to preview it. So here you can see I have given a threshold area that if my any of the categories coming in this area, so it is providing me the loss. Like, so this is actually based on my condition for the training purposes, but based on the actual data and actual whatever the analysis you have, you can define the different thresholds. Not from the zero only, you can define the medium. You can define any of the values like from the 600 to 800, 800 to 1K, any value, so that you can define based on your criteria that any of the threshold line you have, or you want to define any category area, that it is the very best category area we have. So you can define that in the threshold part. Now coming here, so we can define the value also, base value that in the chart, if you want to show from zero only, I don't want to show into the negative. So from zero to, I want to show to the 500 only. So I can define. So the chart will be displayed for the 0 to 500 value only, nothing else. Okay. So my chart is starting from the 0 and it is ending in the 500. So I don't want to show any of the value beyond this range of data. So these are the different conditions you can play with to create the analysis out of it. Whatever the features we have in the different chart categories, we can define this in the IntelliCus, right? And we can define based on the different chart conditions also we can perform that. If by default the chart type is there, but if you want to change the chart type here also in the value field, because if you want to create some more y-axis, so I can define and create one more field and I can define the new series type. So for that, I can define the different series also. Like for example, I'm having based on the profit. Now I want based on the sales. Like I have different y-axis based on the sales, taking it and I want the series type as line. Now let us preview that. So I'm having the two chart condition. One is the bar chart for the profit and line chart for the sales. So how easily you can analyze the data based on the different measures. like profit, sales, and for the different categories. And you can see where my sales is more, the profit is also more like this, and the sales is here 2.0, but I don't have any of the profit in the furniture area. So you can get the analysis out of it. Now, if we are coming that whatever the max height you want to, what the title, if you want to give the character of the title, how much character you want to show, the angle of the label you want to define, that you are the label in the x-axis you are showing. You want to rotate that in the some particular angle based on the value length. So you can define that also. So these are the basic some of the features and the conditions which we can perform. And the ellipse position, if we are having the large value of the character data, in the labeling. So we can define that we want to show the suffix or in the prefix form based on the max character area we have defined, right? We have the different setting that we have to show the legends, right? If you don't show the legends, we can define where we want to show the title. If you want to show point label description, where the description should be like this. These are the different areas. Now trend, we want to see the trend line, so we can define the linear programming. These are the some programmatical trend line we can show based on our forecasting, right? So based on the past data, it will forecast you the data for in the linear form. So basically, it will be mostly applicable into the date chart. We haven't selected any of the date charts, so it will not be more applicable. It will not be the more relevant data. So whenever if you are selecting the date dimension, it will be more relevant for that, right? So this is the form of the chart type reporting we can have in the ad hoc report. So how easily we can define the different type of reporting, like the detailed report also, metrics also, chart also, and we can define the different features, do the perform the grouping, the perform the highlighting. And it is very easy, just drag and drop and select the menu options in from the drop down. Nothing we have to do. All the options we have been providing into the UI, and you can easily select and play with your report to perform the analysis. So this is how you can do the analysis of the ad hoc report. Now, after this ad hoc reporting tool, we have to see how we can define the template configuration. Also, we are having, so like, for example, I want to save this report. I can save this in the training. So I want to save that training report, right? I have saved it. Okay. Now this report has been saved into my session. I can refresh it. I can see it, right? So this is my report. I have created training report. Now also we have the agenda that how we can save the private report, that I have created some of the report, but I don't want to see that report should be displayed to all of the users. That report should be applicable to that particular user only. So what I can do, I can save as in this category I want to save, but this should be the private. So when I will save this report will only be visible to my user from where I have been logging. It will not be visible to all the users, right? So basically, if you want to create some of the report for practice purpose also, so I can do that if the multiple Intellicus versions and multiple users are using that. We can do, or we want that this report should be reliable for this particular department only, for this particular user segment. So we can create the private report, right? Now, after creating this complete, so I hope I'm clear with the designing of the ad hoc report. If you have any question, you can post into the Q&A session, right? So we will be happy to answer that. And also, if you have any questions, you can anytime contact us. Now, if you go to the report configuration, so we have the ad hoc template configuration. Now, whatever the template we have been selecting in this ad hoc report designing here, so we are having the configuration for that. So you can anytime modify that configuration and use accordingly. Like for example, I have taken the blank. So in the report header, what was the font size? What was the style? What was the size? We want to see the underline. We want what is the back color, like this, everything. In the footer, page header, the horizontal alignment, it should be in the left, like this, center, all the options in the page footer, group footer, detail, whatever the configuration we can perform in the reporting tool for that particular template, we can design from it here. So if you want to modify the predefined template, we can do that. Or if you want to create, like for example, I have taken the cancel. I've taken the nature. Now I want to create some changes into that nature, but I don't want to alter the already defined template. So what I can do, I can click on this plus icon, double plus, so it will be add line. So it will create a duplicate for it. Or if you are creating the new template, so you can click on add new. So let me, I'm creating the add line. It will create me a new template. I can define the session training. Now it is a copy. So if in this portion, I want to set in the report header, my back color should not be the red. I want that my back color should be the light blue, like this. And it should be in the light. Vertical alignment should also be the middle. This type of, and in the chart also, I don't want the width to be this much. I want that width should be very large, right? And what are the chart library because we have the multiple chart libraries. So what chart library you want to use in this template? So it can be used the Canvas chart, which is the latest one, or the M chart JavaScript. So both the chart library we can use, which are which can be accessed into that template. In the theme also, if you have any of the theme, you can create that. So these are the configuration which we can do from it, from the ad hoc report designing. If you want to create or upload any image. So for example, I have browse. I have an image of the Intellicus. For example, I will upload it, right? So my image has been uploaded, or it is already accessed, so I can create an override. So it is uploaded. Now I can, in the list here, I can see the image logo. What I want that this image should be displayed in the top left, top middle, like this. So I can say, so whenever I will be using this template, this image will also be used into the template. But to use this image, our template should be able to use that image property into that report. If we have designed our template based on the use of the image also, that we can use the image in that report, so it will be used. So this is how we can change the configuration of any of the templates, and we can define the new also. Like we can define the new from here, and it will create the new template. So whatever the template you want to create, you can create it from here. You can design template. This is how you can create a different template from here. So this is how we can define a new design an ad hoc report from a scratch by using a data source, and we can use this already predefined template which are available, or if you want to create any new template based on our use, based on our theme, we can define that. So these are the very user friendly UI we have for the Intelligence to design any of the report. So this is one of the reporting tool in the Intelligence which we have. So let us come to our agenda. Now after that, we are having what are the post view operations we can have, right? So let us move towards that. In the report, when I will be previewing the fields, let us remove this chart, right? And then preview it. So we are having the different options to preview. Like, so you are having, you can see the TOC. If you have created any of the group, so you can see the table of contents also, right? And if you want to export this into the Excel, you can do that. In the PDF, you can do that. CSV, text, Word, PowerPoint. If you want to upload into the FTP location, you can do. If you want to print this report, you can do that. If you want to publish this report in any of the location, if you want to email it, you can do the email if you have the SMTP configuration setup. Like you can define what you have to send it to the email and how you have to format it. You can embed it also. You can send it as a link or attachment also. And you can upload it, this report into some of the FTP locations also. So these are the post view operations you can perform. You can schedule it when the schedule session will be coming. So this is from my side for how to define the ad hoc, design the ad hoc report, how to define the ad hoc report template configuration, and how we can perform the post view operation. So after that, my colleague Gunjan will take over to how give you the session on the scheduling and the other. Gunjan, over to you.
Thank you, Hamza. Hi, everyone. So now we'll be understanding the scheduler and alerts and notification components of IntelliGuess. So starting with report scheduling. So reports can be scheduled on an individual basis. However, if we have many reports to schedule, scheduling on a one by one basis can become burdensome. So here is when scheduling component comes into picture. So how does this help us? So scheduling always comes in handy when you want to run single or multiple reports at a time with huge amount of data as well as send them to different recipients simultaneously. For example, we have to run multiple reports at a time as well as deliver them simultaneously. So suppose I have 10 to 20 stakeholders who are responsible to take decisions on them. So I can schedule those reports on different frequencies and send them and email them at the same time. So this enhances the time management. Also, the manual intervention reduces. In addition to this, you can also define report formats for each and every user and a desired delivery location also. The scheduler component of IntelliGuest provide us the power to plan a report generation in advance. And schedules can be created by first the administrator, also by a user having batch report scheduler system privileges, and all the users can create their private schedules. In IntelliGuest, we have two types of scheduling. First is quick scheduling, where we can schedule the report then and there. And then we have advanced scheduling, where we bring in jobs, tasks, and schedules to bring in more enhanced way of automating the report delivery. When I say jobs and tasks, what do they mean? So a job is a container of scheduled processing activities that operates in a coordinated manner. Instead of scheduling individual reports, a job allows multiple reports to execute using the same schedule. So instead of scheduling individual reports, a job allows multiple reports to execute using the same schedule. So it can be same schedule and multiple jobs. Then we have tasks. So a task is made up of name of the report to be executed and details of its delivery option. A task is created and stored in IntelliGuest repository and we can select it during setting up a job. Similarly, we have a schedule. So it contains all the information related to the time and frequency of report execution. And it can be designed and executed only once or as well as recurring in a time span. We select the schedule also during job setup. You can see that here we have the job screen. So here you can select which report you will be able to select a task from here, and you will also be able to select a schedule from this screen. Next, you can see that we have this. This is a task screen where you can name your task, and you will be selecting your entity which you need to schedule, and the delivery options. For example, email, print, upload, or publish. Then we also have the multi-set feature. Then we have the schedule where we'll be selecting the time and frequency of report execution. Then we'll be looking at the job execution status screen. So now let's head over to the portal. So to design a job, we'll go to navigate, then schedule, and then we have jobs. When you click on jobs, we can see that we have three tabs over here. One is the job list, second is task list, and then we have the schedule list. To create a schedule, we'll click on the schedule list tab and then we'll click on the add schedule button. Over here, we'll be creating a schedule. So you can name your schedule over here. So suppose I name it schedule. One. Here you will be providing the start date. So suppose you want your schedule to start from 22nd of September. So you will be selecting the start date from here. And you want this schedule till 28th of September. So you will select the end date from here. Then we have the frequency options over here. We have daily, weekly, monthly. So if you select daily, you can select the interval after how many days you want the schedule to occur. Then for weekly, you can select which day of the week you want the schedule to run. And here the interval between the weeks, whether you want it after every 1 week, 2, 3, etc. Then we also have option of monthly. So here you can select the month and the date on which you want the schedule to run. Let's go ahead and create a daily schedule. Here I'll provide 1 day. So every day this schedule will run. Then we have this time zone option. So as according to the time zone, the schedule execution time will be entered. And if you do not provide any time zone over here, then the report server's time zone will be taken into consideration. Then we have option of occurs once and occurs every. So occurs once if you want your schedule to run only once, and here you can provide the time at what time you want the schedule to run. Then we have occurs every. So over here you can select at what hour you want your schedule to run. So if you select after every 1 hour, then after every 1 hour your schedule will get created. Suppose I select occurs every 1 hour. And I'll give the starting time as 12 and the ending time as 23 hours. Now let's save this schedule. Here you can see that the schedule has been created. Let's go and create a task. To create a task, you'll click on the Add Task button. Over here, you can specify your unique name for this entity, and this will be referred as task 11. From here, you can select the entity which you want to run. Suppose I want to run, I want to schedule my ad hoc report. So from here, I'll select ad hoc product, which I've already created. Then you can see that we have different operations. So first is email, print, upload, and publish. So if you see email, you can see you can send a report through email and check the email checkbox. And then over here, you can provide all the details. You can provide the file name by which you want to refer the report. You can send the report as link attachment, and you will provide the email details to which you want to send the report. Then we have print option. So if you want this, if you want to print your report on pages, then you may select check this checkbox. Here you will be providing the details of your copies and the printer name. Going ahead, we have upload. So a report can also be uploaded to an FTP server. So over here, you will have to provide your FTP credentials, FTP server credentials. And if you check this checkbox, after the schedule, you will be your report will be uploaded in your FTP server. Then we have the publish option. You can publish a report in any of the available report formats. So here you can see that we have different formats supported. We have HTML, PDF, MS Excel, Word, and so on. Here we have pagination options as well. And you can also select whether you want the file to be downloaded as a zip or not. So let's click on publish, and here I'll name the report, give the file name as publish ad hoc 11. Over here, you can see that we have validity options. So you can select the validity of your report. So if you want your report to be valid till end of this month or till end of this year, you will after the report has been generated, you can select this option. Then we also have till date option. Over here, you can select a particular date till when you want this report to be active. Then you can see that we have a permalink option over here. So here you can select the format in which you want your report to be sent. So if you want your users to get a published link that doesn't require any sign-in credentials, you'll have to select this checkbox of permalink for last saved instance. And from here you can select the format. You can also provide the access code if you want that report to be accessed through any access code. And when you click on this generate button, you can see that this is the URL, and you can share this URL to the users. Next, you can see that this report was created. This report was also containing a parameter object. So it is a parameterized ad hoc report. So you can see that the entity parameters are present over here. So you can see that different product types are listed over here. So you can select the parameter from which you want your report to run. Next, we have the multi-set parameters. So using this, you can at runtime dynamically select the parameter values. We have two options over here. One is the static and the other one is SQL. So suppose with multi-set, you can burst reports to varied recipients and with different parameters. So for instance, if you want to send the same report to some recipients via email and some via upload, so you can achieve this through multi-set feature. And you can see that we have different product types over here. So if you want one user to receive details about the audio systems and the other user to receive details about the mobile devices, you can do so using the multi-set option. So with static, let's go ahead and look at static first. With static option, we can create sets and associate our recipients to it. So once you select multi-set option, you can see that checkboxes get introduced in front of associated to run as this user, report format, and the operations over here. Also in front of entity parameters. So you can see that we have report format, organization, user, and report parameters enabled over here. So suppose for organization 1, I want to set the report format as MS Word. And just give me a moment. I'm not sure why this is not getting enabled. Just give me a moment. Okay, let's look into this task for now. Here you can see that we have created set 1, where we have selected the MS Word for organization 1 and user 1. And for this user, I want the parameters to be set as audio system. So I have selected audio systems here, and I'll click on OK. Then I've created another set for user 2, and the report format I want is PPT. Then I have selected organization 2 and user 2 over here. And for this user, I want mobile devices as the parameter selected. Again, I have created a set 3, and here I have selected parameter as home accessories and the report format as Acrobat PDF. So this is how you can select, you can create a task. Let's look into so let's save this first and go ahead and look into creation of job. Here you can see that I've named the job as job 2. Then we have different options over here. So we have skip delivery or no data. If selected, report will be delivered to selected delivery options only if the report has some data. If the report doesn't have any data, then the job will be skipped. By default, this delete on completion option is checked by default. So if this is selected, job will be deleted after execution for run now and once. And if it is recurring, it will be deleted if further execution is not scheduled after the last execution. Let's keep it unchecked. Then we have this suspend option. So if this is selected, that job will not be implemented that time onwards. Now you can see that we have option to select the task. So here you can select the task from the list, or you can click on modify and you can select the and if you want, you can modify the task from here. Automatically the report name gets entered in the report name text box. Then we have options to share how we want the job to get run. So here we have over here schedule comes into picture. So if you want your job to run now, you'll click on this radio button. And if you want to schedule, if you want your job to run once at a particular day and time, then you will go ahead and select once radio button. And then if you have created a schedule and you want your job to run from that schedule, then you can click on recurring and you can select your schedule from here. So let's go ahead and click on now first. Then we have these options run as this user. So to run the job in the name of a specific user, you can select the organization and the user from here. You might have observed that we have this option in the task level as well. So the job level overrides this feature of in the jobs. Then we have notification options over here. The first one is on success. So to send notification on success of the job, you may check this checkbox and enter your email ID over here. Then if you want your notification to be sent if an error occurs in your job, then you click on error and you can mention the email ID over here. Then we also have advanced options. So somehow if an error occurs and the job doesn't get completed and you want to retry your job, so you can click on retry option and you can provide the details over here that after how many minutes you want your job to rerun and how many times you want to retry this job. So you can select 2 or till 10 you can select. Then if your report generation couldn't start as per the calendar and so that way your job got skipped. And if your job got skipped, you can click on this checkbox and select recover. And here you can mention after within how many minutes and how much interval of time you want your job to retry. So this is how you can select this option. So let's save this. So you can see that the job is running. You can see the status of the job 2 as running over here. And if I click on refresh, you can see that it is completed. Now if I go to publish reports, so we had used multi-set option and we had scheduled our ad hoc report for user 1, user 2 and user 3. So you can see that with one schedule, we have provided 3 reports. The first one you can see, if I click on this, you can see that the first user. For the first user, we can see that the format is MS Word. Now, if I click on OK and open this file, you can see that. Let me open it in HTML. We can see that we had selected for user one audio systems. So only audio system parameter uh, product types details are being uh, visible to user one. Similarly, for user two and user three, it will be respective values will be shown. Now let's go ahead and look into dynamic multi-set feature. So I have created one task and I've selected the I've selected one HSV report over here and I've click on published operation. And here I've selected the multi-set option and I've selected the SQL one. So over here you can select your connection in which details about the users are present. So the parameters will be selected from that particular database. And here you can provide the SQL query. And so I have I have my database demo report DB where I have this multi-set table in which I have details about the organization, report format, and the user. So when I clicked on verify SQL, you can see that the query is verified. And now I can click on run as user and report format and I can provide and I will be mapping the columns with the organization, user and report format. So here I've selected org ID and user, I've selected user ID and then for report format, I'll map it with report format. I'll also show you the query object. So here you can see that I have one column org ID, second one is user ID, and the third is report format. So here I've mentioned the org IDs, organization IDs, the users, and the report format in which I want to download or send the reports. So now when I save this task, and run this job now, you can see that the reports have been scheduled. And for the first user, it is MS Word. For second user, it is PPT. And for third user, it is MS Excel. Now, if I open it, so for the parameters which we select, it will be displayed for that parameter and and will be displayed for in the format which we had selected in the which we had mentioned in our database. Now let's go ahead and look into job execution status. So the job execution status of all the reports and are executed as scheduled job, quick job, as well as reports that were run in the background and they can be viewed on a job execution status page. This page also lists reports that are currently executing and reports upcoming for execution. Also, you can see that this is the job execution status screen. Here we have two tabs. One is for job summary and the other one is for list view. You can see that we have different KPIs. So you can see the execution of reports, cubes, query objects, and also solution objects. Let's go in. So To open job execution status screen, you will go to navigate, schedule, and then job execution status screen. Now we had scheduled jobs just now, which were job 2 and job 1. So you can see that it gives the schedule time as 1943. And you may also click on filters and you can filter your jobs with entity type, whether you want to filter it with report object, query object, or analytical object, or with a particular, you can select an entity name from here. Then you can also filter it out using the date range, and you may reset it if you want to go to the default. So this is where all the jobs, the execution of all the jobs are logged. So you may view all the jobs here. So this was for scheduler part. Now let's look into alerts and subscription feature of Intellicus. Alerts, broadcast, and subscription keep users on top of the business critical updates. Trigger-based alerts deliver instant notifications as soon as any key metric crosses the defined thresholds. These notifications help you track activities and plan corrective measures timely. Intelligence lets users subscribe for notifications. If the report meets the set conditions, you can subscribe to the alerts to get notifications via the desired channels. Intelligence facilitates adding and configuring channels like email, push notifications from the portal. So first we have in alerts and subscription module we have we'll be going through four things. First one is applying highlighting and alerting. Second, we'll be adding a subscription. And then we have configuring notification channels. And then we'll be setting notification channel preferences for users. So here I've already created a smart report in which I've applied highlighting and also enabled alerts. So I'll open the smart report. Okay. So to subscribe to a report, suppose if you want to receive alerts for your report, you'll have to create a report in which you'll be applying highlighting, and we have an alert checkbox which you'll have to check. So once you check that checkbox and you save it, you'll see that different alerts are shown. And then if you want to subscribe to that alert, you'll go to navigate and then notify and then notification. You'll see that subscribe alerts option is displayed over here. Let's go ahead and create a subscription. So you can see that I had one smart product report in which alerts is enabled. So here you can here all the reports get listed where alerts are enabled. Let's give this subscription a name. Then we have notify option. So here we have two options. One is me and the other one is other. So if you want to subscribe to the user which you've logged in from, so from over here you can see that I've logged in from the admin user. So you can select admin, and if you want this subscription to be, if you want to subscribe this report to some other user, you can select from here. You will select the other checkbox, and here you can select user one. Then we have messaging options. The first one is auto-generated and the second one is custom text. Let's go ahead with auto-generated. Then we have the attached report option. So if you want your report to be attached, for example, you are sharing your report through an email, and if you want to send your report as an you want as an attachment, you'll click this, you'll check this checkbox. And if you don't want this report to be sent as attachment, you can uncheck this and the report will be sent as a link. Then we have different report formats over here. So let's select Acrobat PDF. Then you may select your frequency for the reports to be generated. So we have different frequencies. We have in minutes, every hour, every day. So let's select in minutes. Suppose I select 10 minutes and I'll start it from 20 and I want this to end at 22 and I've applied this. You may also customize your alerts if you want. So these are the conditions which are applied in my smart report, which is sales 92 above 10,000. You can customize your alert over here, your condition over here. Suppose I can make it below and below 10,000 also, and I can apply it. And if you want to reset your alert, customization, just click on reset button. Now let's save this. So you can see that the subscription has been created for the report smart product. Now if I go to job execution status screen, you can see that this report has been scheduled and the interval between the schedule is 10 minutes, which we had opted for. Now we have notification channels. Let's go to configure. So Intellicus supports notification channels in which you can deliver your reports. So the first one is push channel and the second is email. So if you go to email, you can see that I've configured this email channel and you can provide your SMTP credentials over here. Then Intellicus also supports push channel. So this is a Firebase cloud messaging. We have associated our Intellicus application with the FCM account, and we have the service account file of the application. So we've provided the service account file over here, and this file gets shipped with the product. Then we provide the messaging scope. For now, we have support for Firebase messaging. So the scope is Firebase messaging. Then we also have notification sound. So if you want to receive the alerts in your Intellicus application in your mobile, then we select this. Then we have to configure this push channel. So you can see that these both channels are successfully passed and are saved. Now for every user, so you for now we have created a report. We've subscribed to that report. We've created the subscription to it, and we've also configured notification channels. Now you want this channel. Now you want your report to be delivered to your email ID. So to configure that, you'll have to go to navigate, personalization, and then preferences. Over here, you can see that we have notification channel options. So here I've logged in from the admin user. So the admin can provide the preference of his or her email ID. So suppose I give admin@intellicus.com. So once the report gets scheduled, the schedule gets completed and an alert gets generated. So the the report will get emailed to this particular email ID. Similarly, I have logged in here from the user one, from organization one. Here also the user can mention his or her email ID to receive the notifications. Now you can see that over here, I have created the subscription from the admin user, and here I've logged in from the user 1. You can see that the subscription name is displayed for user 1 as well, as the admin had subscribed to user 1 here. And you can see that the subscribe by option comes here as admin. Now, if user 1 does not want to receive alerts for this subscription, then the user can block it. You can also unblock it by clicking on the unblock option. You may see that the alerts are getting generated for that particular report. So we had scheduled it for 8 p.m. So you can see that for user 1 also, the smart product report is generated. And for admin user also, you can see that alerts are being generated. Similarly, you can see that we have different alerts available. We have business alerts, background report completion, and approval process. So if you want, and we have associated these kind of alerts with our channels. So if you want a business alerts, so suppose your memory trigger and license expiration mails. So those kind of alerts come under business alerts. Then we have background report completion. Suppose you have a huge report which takes a lot of time to process. So you can, once the completion is done in background, so you want to receive an alert for the same that the report execution is completed, you can select the checkbox in front of your preference channel. Then we have approval process. So if you have a report which is pending for an approval, and you once it is approved, or if it is still pending, and or it is rejected, and you want the alert for the same, you can check the checkbox of it, and you may receive the alerts in your preference channel. Suppose I want the business kind of alerts in my push channel in my mobile application, then I'll select the checkbox in front of push. And if I want the background report completion alerts in my email channel, then accordingly I'll be selecting and making the changes, and then I can save my preferences. So this is all about alerts and notifications. We are open for Q&A round. If you have any questions, please ping on the chat or in the Q&A section. Thank you.